Sir, this chapter is also in our first semester.
Yes. This is in our first semester examination. So now we are going to take that analytical chemistry. This analytical chemistry is divided in two categories. That two parts are there. First one is that qualitative analysis. This is qualitative analysis. Other one is quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis. In qualitative analysis, that we identify the substance by chemical test. Identification of substance, identification of substance is done by chemical test. In the chemical test, we use two reagents. These two reagents are sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide. Then in quantitative analysis, we find out the composition. Find out the composition of a substance. So just to see first one example, very simple example about the qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. One question for you: in water molecule, which elements are present?
Hydrogen and oxygen.
Hydrogen and
Yes.
oxygen.
Yes.
Hydrogen
You
and
are telling. Yes, you are telling that in water molecule that elements are present: hydrogen and oxygen. So this hydrogen and oxygen, you are telling that is coming in qualitative analysis. Now the question for you: what is the ratio?
2:1.
Means to one.
Yes, correct. So this formula is there: H2O 2:1 by volume and 1:8 by weight. So as I asked the questions to you that in water molecule which elements are present, you have answered that hydrogen and oxygen. So this will come in qualitative analysis. As you identified which elements are present, so that will come in qualitative analysis. Next, as you told the composition, so the composition is coming in quantitative analysis. Quantity means you are going to tell the quantity, what quantity is there, what ratio is there. So same thing applicable here also. In qualitative analysis, that identification of substance is done by chemical test, and the chemical test we use two reagents: sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide. So how they will work, this sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide? This sodium hydroxide or ammonium hydroxide dissociate to give sodium and hydroxyl ion. So this sodium hydroxide dissociate to give sodium and hydroxyl ion. In the same way, this ammonium hydroxide dissociate to give ammonium ion and hydroxyl ion. Next, what will happen? This test you are applying for salt solution. So in the salt solution, that metal ions are there. I have taken one hypothetical example that M2 plus, valency is 2 plus, that combine with 2 hydroxyl ion and form MOH whole twice. So this precipitate you are getting by the color of the precipitate and whether the precipitate is soluble or insoluble in excess sodium or ammonium hydroxide, you can recognize, you can identify that which cations are there. So in the qualitative analysis up to the 10+2, that you have to study only qualitative analysis. So in the qualitative analysis you will recognize that which cations are present, and how you can recognize. For that purpose, you will take the salt solution like zinc sulfate, copper sulfate, magnesium sulfate, any salt solution you will take. In that one you will add sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide, first in drop wise, then in excess. So when you add drop wise, first the precipitate is formed, just to see what is the color of the precipitate. Then whether the precipitate is soluble or insoluble, based on that you can recognize that which cation is present. So this is coming in qualitative analysis. If it is asked to you that find out how much quantity of iron is present in that salt, how much quantity of magnesium is present in that salt, so that will come in quantitative analysis. So that we need not study here, we will study up to the qualitative analysis. Means we will recognize that which elements are there, we will find out the composition. Now next one is the color of the salt. Just you go through your book, page number 64, that qualitative analysis includes identification of unknown substance by chemical test. Chemical tests include use of sodium and ammonium hydroxide on salt solution and observation of the color and solubility of the precipitate form. Next one is that color of salt. So just to see, you must have seen that some salts are colored. So why the salts are colored? The reason is that either cations or anions. Either cations or anions. If one is colored, then the salt will be colored. So the next topic, that color of salt. Color of salt. You must have seen that copper sulfate. This copper sulfate, what is the color of copper sulfate? This is blue in color. Then you have seen copper carbonate. What is the color of copper carbonate? This is green. Copper sulfate is blue in color and copper carbonate green in color. So this copper sulfate blue or green color is there because of this copper ions. Because copper ions are found either in blue or green color. Next, ferric chloride. This yellow or brown color is there. So this yellow or brown color is there because of this ferric ion. Then ferrous sulfate, that green color is there. This green color is there because of this ferrous. So now the color of the salt is due to either cations or anions. If one is colored, then the salt will be colored. Now next one is, you have studied that KMnO4, potassium permanganate. This compound is found in purple color. So this purple color is there because of permanganate ion. Because this permanganate ion, that purple color is there, because of that you are getting the purple color. Then potassium dichromate. Potassium dichromate, orange color is there. This orange color is there because of this dichromate ion. So because of this you are getting the orange color. So I want to tell you, in the periodic table from the group 1, 2 and 13 to 17 elements form colorless salt. That elements from 1, 2 and 13 to 17, group number 13 to 17 elements form colorless salt. It means normal element. It means normal elements. So normal elements will form that colorless. No color will be there for the normal elements. Next, that colored, you know that group 3 to 12 transition elements. Transition elements, they will form colored salt. So that from the group 1, 2 and then 13 to 17 normal elements, they will form the colorless salt, and then from group 3 to 12, that transition elements or transition metals, they will form the colored salt. Here you have seen that they are from the transition elements. So just you go through your book, page number 64, what is given? Color of salt. A salt is generally colored if cations or anions are colored. Just you go through your book, that two columns are given. One side colored cations and colored anions, another side colored cations and colored anions. So I suggest you that just you learn the colored only, and rest are the colorless. So it will be useful for you. It will be useful for you, because when the question is asked for observation, so observation, whenever they are asking, in observation we have to say that the color of the compound only. So that's why it is very, very useful for you. So I suggest you please learn it. Now next topic, that action of sodium and ammonium hydroxide on solution of salt. So we are that two topics are there. First of all, sodium hydroxide and then ammonium hydroxide. So first of all, we will take sodium hydroxide. So now action of sodium hydroxide on aqueous salt solution. Now this is the topic we are going to take now, that action of sodium hydroxide on aqueous salt solution. Action of sodium hydroxide on aqueous salt solution. Just you see which cations you have to study, which cations are given in your syllabus. So in your syllabus, what cations are given? This calcium, magnesium, ferrous, ferric, copper, zinc and lead. These many cations are given, that is in your syllabus, and that only you have to study. Zinc. Getting? Just to see, I think you are not getting this one. So copper, zinc and lead. Visible to you, everybody? Yes. So these cations are in the syllabus, so that only you have to study. What heading is given? That action of sodium hydroxide on aqueous salt solution. It means you can take these cation salt solution which are soluble in water. Means only soluble salts can be used insoluble salt cannot be used. What is the reason? Reason is that we will take the salt solution in a test tube, then we add first of all drop wise sodium hydroxide, then excess amount. Just we see the color of the precipitate, what color is there, then whether this precipitate is soluble or insoluble. Based on that, we can recognize which cations are present. So first of all, I am going to take calcium. Calcium cations. So now the question for you, name some soluble salt of calcium. Some soluble salt of calcium.
Calcium nitrate.
Yes, correct. Calcium nitrate can be used. Calcium nitrate is soluble. And second, calcium chloride can be used. My question is that, can you use calcium sulfate here? Yes or no?
No.
Can you use calcium sulfate? Yes. This test is failed for calcium sulfate. The test is failed for calcium sulfate. The test is applicable only for soluble salt. So just to see what you will observe, you take the aqueous salt solution of calcium nitrate. In that one, you can add sodium hydroxide. So when the sodium hydroxide is added here, we will get sodium nitrate and calcium hydroxide. This white precipitate is formed. White precipitate is formed. It is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. Insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. White precipitate is formed. It is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. You must be thinking how it is possible. So just you see, you can take a test tube. In that test tube, just you take calcium nitrate solution. In this test tube, that calcium nitrate solution is there. In this calcium nitrate, first of all, add drop wise. Add drop wise in this one sodium hydroxide. So when you add drop wise sodium hydroxide, you will see that white precipitate is formed. In that one, when you add excess sodium hydroxide, so that precipitate remain as such. So in this case, calcium nitrate, that white precipitate is formed and that precipitate remains insoluble. In the same way, at the place of calcium nitrate, you can take calcium chloride. Calcium chloride reacts with sodium hydroxide. This will form sodium chloride and calcium hydroxide. What is the observation? Observation will be same. White precipitate insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So the test, what color you are getting, it depends on calcium ion. It depends on calcium ion, and if any soluble salt of calcium is there, either calcium nitrate, calcium chloride or any other soluble salt of calcium, so when you add sodium hydroxide in a small quantity, drop wise, first of all, you are getting the white precipitate, and when the excess amount is added, you will see that the white precipitate remains insoluble. So this test is not applicable for calcium sulfate. Just now you told that it is insoluble. So the test is applicable only for soluble salt. Insoluble salt, the test is not applicable. Now next one is, next cation, that magnesium. Any doubt is there in this one? Anybody? No. Okay. So next cation, we are going to take that magnesium. So next cation, that magnesium. Magnesium. Just to find out the soluble salt of magnesium. Soluble salt of magnesium.
Magnesium chloride, magnesium nitrate.
Yes, magnesium chloride, magnesium nitrate and magnesium sulfate also, because all the sulfates are soluble except for that lead, barium, calcium, silver. So here they are the soluble. Just to see in the book which one is given. Magnesium chloride is given. So that I am going to leave here because already printed in the book that you can follow. And 2 I will write for magnesium nitrate and magnesium sulfate. So in this magnesium nitrate, when sodium hydroxide solution is added, in magnesium nitrate, when sodium hydroxide solution is added, this will form that sodium nitrate and magnesium hydroxide. What is the color of the precipitate here? Dull white. Dull white precipitate is formed. You must be thinking what is dull white. Just you see, when you purchase that white shirt, it is shining, but after 2 or 3 months use, that brightness is not there, that shining is not there, so that become the dull white. So that is called the dull white, means little bit turbidity or dirtiness is there in that white color, that is called dull white. Then this precipitate is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So this dull white precipitate is formed, it is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So now next one is magnesium sulfate. In magnesium sulfate, when sodium hydroxide solution is added, this will form sodium sulfate and magnesium hydroxide. What is the observation here? Same observation will be there, that dull white precipitate is formed, it is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So now the next one we have to take that iron, that ferrous iron we have to take. We have to take the ferrous iron. Next cation, that ferrous iron. So soluble salt of ferrous iron, just to tell some soluble salt of ferrous iron.
Ferrous sulfate.
Yes, correct. Ferrous sulfate, ferrous chloride, ferrous nitrate. Which one is given in the book? That in your book it is given that ferrous sulfate. So this ferrous sulfate I am going to leave here. We will take the ferrous chloride. So this ferrous chloride, when sodium hydroxide is added in ferrous chloride solution, this will form sodium chloride and ferrous hydroxide. This ferrous hydroxide color will be there, dirty green precipitate. Dirty green precipitate. This dirty green precipitate is insoluble in excess. Insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So when this sodium hydroxide solution is added in ferrous chloride, we are getting dirty green precipitate. It is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. Now next one is ferrous nitrate. So in the ferrous nitrate, when sodium hydroxide solution is added, we will get sodium nitrate and ferrous hydroxide. What is the color of the precipitate here? Dirty green precipitate. It is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. Can you take ferrous carbonate here? This FeCO3. Can you apply this test here? No. The test is not applicable because this ferrous carbonate is insoluble. The test is applicable only for soluble salts. Now next one is ferric ion. Ferrous you have seen. Now ferric. this ferric ion, soluble salt of ferric ion. What are the soluble salt of ferric ion? Ferric chloride, ferric nitrate, and ferric sulfate. These three are there. This ferric chloride is given in your book. So now we can take that ferric nitrate. So this ferric nitrate react with sodium hydroxide. This will form sodium nitrate and ferric hydroxide. This ferric hydroxide, what is the color of this ferric hydroxide? Reddish brown precipitate. Reddish brown precipitate. This one is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. Insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. In the same way, you can write with this ferric sulfate also. This sodium hydroxide, here 2 iron is there. You can take 6 molecule. This will form Na2, SO4, 3 2 is 6, and ferric hydroxide. So here also that you will get reddish brown and insoluble in excess. So now this ferric ion is over. Now next one is copper. So soluble salt of copper ion. Just to find out what are the soluble salt of copper ion. So copper ions, soluble salt of copper, that copper sulfate, copper nitrate, and copper chloride. So this copper sulfate is mentioned in your book. So we will take copper nitrate and copper chloride. So whatever the copper ions are there, that same color will be there. So here we can take that copper nitrate. So this copper nitrate react with sodium hydroxide. This will form that sodium nitrate and copper hydroxide. This copper hydroxide precipitate is pale blue precipitate is there. Pale blue precipitate insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So this pale blue means whitish blue, just like by that shirt color is there, that is called the pale blue or whitish blue, is insoluble in excess. Same way you can write with this copper chloride also, at the place of the nitrate only chlorine will come. Now next one is zinc and lead. Now zinc and lead. So soluble salt of zinc, zinc sulfate, zinc nitrate, and zinc chloride. So zinc sulfate, I think it is given in your book, and zinc nitrate you can do by yourself. Now zinc chloride, just you see. This zinc chloride reacts with sodium hydroxide. This will form 2NaCl, zinc hydroxide. This zinc hydroxide color is gelatinous white. Gelatinous white precipitate. You must be thinking what is gelatinous white. Just like the jelly-like substance, it is there in a test tube where you have taken the zinc chloride. You can add drop-wise sodium hydroxide. White precipitate will be there like the jelly-like substance that will stick to your test tube wall. If you keep your test tube wall, it remains stick in that one. So this gelatinous white precipitate is formed, and it is soluble in excess. Soluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So wherever the precipitate is soluble, then second equation will come. So for the second equation, this zinc hydroxide react with sodium hydroxide, this will form sodium zincate, Na2, ZnO2, 2s2O. So sodium zincate is formed. So in the same way, this one is given in the book. This zinc nitrate you can do by yourself. Now the last one, that lead, soluble salt of lead. So soluble salt of lead, only one is there, that is lead nitrate, and rest of the lead salt, that is lead chloride and lead sulfates, are insoluble in water. So for them it is not applicable. So now the next one is soluble salt of lead, only one is there. Soluble salt, only one is there, that is lead nitrate. So you can take aqueous salt solution of lead nitrate. In that one we add sodium hydroxide drop wise. Then in excess, it is observed that this sodium nitrate and lead hydroxide, this lead hydroxide is chalky white. Chalky white precipitate is there. What is the chalky white? Just you take the chalk, dissolve in water, that will settle. It is called the chalky white. Soluble in excess. Soluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So if it is soluble, then second equation will come. So this lead hydroxide react with sodium hydroxide, that will form that sodium plumbite and water. So because of this formation of sodium plumbite, it is soluble. Now one thing you have to see here, that only zinc hydroxide and lead hydroxides are soluble in excess. Only zinc hydroxides and lead hydroxides are soluble in excess sodium hydroxide, and rest of the hydroxides were insoluble. So I want to tell you how these two are different, because these two are amphoteric oxides, amphoteric hydroxides, amphoteric hydroxides. So these two are the amphoteric hydroxides, that's why they are soluble. And if you take aluminum hydroxide, that will also be soluble, but it is not given in a syllabus, but it will be soluble. And rest of the metallic hydroxides are basic oxide, so that's why they are insoluble. So this is what you have studied about the action of sodium hydroxide on aqueous salt solution. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, this next topic, that action of ammonium hydroxide on aqueous salt solution, that we will take in the next class. How the question will be asked to you? They can ask either observation or chemical equation, or they can ask both, that observation and chemical equation. For example, what do you observe when sodium hydroxide is added in lead nitrate solution in a small quantity, then in excess quantity? So when sodium hydroxide is added in a small quantity, chalky white precipitate is formed, and this chalky white precipitate is soluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So these two equations are there. So like this, all this page number 65, now it is coming in most important category, because salt is already removed. So here you can expect more than 5 mark questions from this page number 65. It's very important. Okay. So if any doubt is there, you can ask. No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.